Everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 3 o'clock news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to bring a story to your attention out of Pender County involving a fatal accident. Now, the town of Surf City says a patrol sergeant tried to stop a suspected impaired driver just before 2 a.m. earlier today. A white Chevrolet Silverado was seen making repeated lane violations and failing to maintain control on North Carolina Highway 50. Now, the town says the patrol sergeant turned on the emergency lights and sirens to try and stop the driver. Now, the driver did not yield and continued along Highway 50, going on to Shepherd's Road and US 17. Now, officials say the truck's speed kept changing and the driver continued to move unpredictably. Police asked the Pender County Sheriff's Office for help, and the driver suddenly sped up. This caused police to end the attempted traffic stop, which is part of the department's policy. A deputy took over around 2:04 a.m. as the truck headed east on NC 210. About a minute later, the vehicle crashed near Valhalla Way and was heavily damaged, according to the town. William Costin of Hampstead died from his injuries at the crash site, according to the town. They say open alcohol containers were found in the truck, and impaired driving and loss of vehicle control are believed to be the crash's cause due to the evidence at the scene. Now, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol is currently investigating the crash. Surf City Police Chief Philip Voorhees said, quote, "This incident is a tragic reminder of the deadly consequences of impaired driving. We thank our law enforcement and emergency service partners for their coordinated response and professionalism during this very difficult incident," end quote. Now, along with Surf City Police and the Pender County Sheriff's Office, the Surf City Fire Department and Pender EMS and Fire helped at the crash site. And now we want to bring your attention to another crash, this one not quite as serious, but certainly jarring for those involved. A sailboat ran aground at around 4 a.m. on the Outer Banks. The Cape Hatteras National Seashore says the Pura Vida from Hollywood, Maryland, grounded about a mile south off the road vehicle ramp 38. Now, the ramp is just south of Avon. There are no injuries to those on the sailboat when it came ashore at around 4 a.m., according to a news release. The U.S. Coast Guard is working with Cape Hatteras and the owner to have the boat removed from the beach. Talk about a jarring wake-up call. Whew. Anyways, let's talk about your forecast. Again, it is another hot day in eastern North Carolina. It's a first alert weather day because of the heat in eastern North Carolina, but we've got good news on the way. Coming up for tomorrow, really later on tonight, we're going to be tracking a weak cold front working its way into eastern North Carolina that will provide us a little bit of temperature relief and humidity relief by the time we get into tomorrow. Now, let's talk about the lack of temperature and humidity relief we've experienced today. Right now, air temperatures reading in the low to mid 90s across most of eastern North Carolina. You're probably looking at Stumpy Point saying, how did they get 77 degrees? Well, we'll get to that coming up in just a few moments, but rain and thunderstorms certainly have a lot to do with it. Right now, we've got 97 in Oriental, 94 in New Bern, as well as Washington and Windsor. It is hot no matter where you go. And when you factor in the humidity, it feels even hotter. Most areas right now are showing a feels like temperature or a heat index of 100 degrees or warmer. It is a hot one out there. Now, of course, with the heat and humidity comes thunderstorms. That is common knowledge if you've lived in eastern North Carolina for a summer. Here's what we've got right now. Some of the heavier storms have really been along the coast so far today. Let's zoom it in on really areas around Stumpy Point. You're probably noticing, okay, that's why Stumpy Point is so cool. They've had a thunderstorm overhead for about an hour now, and while that thunderstorm is still very much chugging along over mainland Dare County, it is showing a little bit of that easterly movement that should hopefully start to clear out mainland Dare and mainland Hyde County from those thunderstorms. But I'd give it another hour or more before we can say that, all right, mainland Dare County no longer experiencing rain showers. Of course, the Outer Banks, you got more rain on the way, not just for the areas north of Hatteras, but right now down East Carteret County, south of Ocracoke, we've got quite a cluster of thunder and lightning. Now, I want you to see there's a lot of thunder and lightning strikes in the beginning of that loop. But watch what happens. You can see that kind of green line extend out. That is what is called an outflow boundary, or a collapsing thermal that usually sends air up. It has it then coming down as that whole system weakens. And once that air comes down, it then spreads out into that kind of circular shape as that wind extends out from that dying cold front. Again, well, dying thunderstorm, I should say, not cold front, dying thunderstorm. You'll note again the lack of lightning strikes compared to the first half of the loop to the second half of the loop. There is certainly a reduction, and again, that is that outflow boundary, those thunderstorms really starting to die out. Now, they're not going to be going away for long. There'll be more development as we head through the rest of the evening. But again, just for those of you watching in down East Carteret County wondering, okay, when is this going to slow down at all? It will over the next few hours, but unfortunately you still have quite a bit of action over you, and we still have those thunderstorms that will be riding along that weak boundary coming in later on tonight. Right now that boundary is starting to make its way into the northwestern portion of North Carolina, areas around Boone, starting to again see some of those rain showers coming down. No severe weather expected with that incoming system, but we will reap some benefits, and that should put a smile on everyone's face. Air temperature is going to be coming down by about 6, 7, 8 degrees from today into tomorrow. That is encouraging. It's not only your daytime highs, but your overnight lows dipping into the 60s that should help really bring down that humidity. It's not going to go away, but anytime we can bring down the humidity in the summertime, that's a good day. That's a really good day. And one, again, I said it earlier, I'll say it again, those types of days should be celebrated. So if you can, try to get out and enjoy the cooler air coming in tomorrow. We've got 86 degrees planned for your high tomorrow, 87 Wednesday, 89 on Thursday. But I think the most important numbers, I should say, on your screen are your overnight lows. With those lows dipping down into the upper 60s, that is really going to spell change for eastern North Carolinians. It will decrease the amount of rain expected through the afternoons. It will also decrease just how hot it feels. It's still going to feel pretty warm out there. Tomorrow afternoon, mid 80s, we could still certainly feel like we're in the low, maybe mid 90s. But the low to mid 90s is a significant improvement from the 105 to 110 degree range it feels like outside right now. Now, of course, we're going to get back to that level coming up later on this weekend, more into the upcoming weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday, again, highlighted in red as they are first alert weather days for the heat and humidity combo. But they, again, will come with some showers and storms. But really want to warn people now, it's going to be another hot weekend. Do what you can to avoid the heat, or at least come up with a way that you and your family can deal with the heat, hopefully in a fun and safe way. Well, that's all we have time for today's 3 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, hope you all have a wonderful Monday.